In the name of the one God, who is lover, beloved, and love overflowing. For several months, while in my 20s, I worked in Mexico with another lay missionary in a very remote village in Yucatan. On my second night there, I went for a walk by myself. I left my one-room adobe hut and walked past other houses just like mine. I came to the only intersection in the village to find that the only streetlight in the village was turned off. Without flashlight or moonlight, I continued my walk out of the village. I followed a path to the surrounding jungle. After some time, I came to a clearing. I looked up. I was absolutely overwhelmed, transfixed, really, by the dazzling light of zillions and zillions of stars. Time stood absolutely still. I experienced an incredible epiphany, a manifestation of God's presence, and a new and clearer understanding of myself. I can still experience the overwhelming sense of contradictory thoughts and emotions. I felt small, insignificant, nothing at all. And at the same time, I felt I was everything, connected to it all. The dense jungle around me, the audible squeaking animals of the night, the silent dome of the heavens above. I felt safe, enveloped. I was complete. I was changed and totally free. After some time had passed, I returned to the village with a deep conviction that God is. God is. There's no other definition. I still hold that there is no place that God is not. God is in all things, but more on that later. For now, let us consider this morning's gospel, Luke's gospel, about the transfiguration of Jesus. The story has much to say about God's presence and about human change and human transformation. Transfigure is not a word we use in everyday language. We might use the words change or transform instead of the word transfigure. To say change raises an important question in response to today's gospel. Who is that who is changed? Who is changed? Jesus appears to be the one who is changed. Not only his face was changed, but his clothes that became dazzling white. But the truth is that Jesus only looked different to Peter, James, and John. They knew him as somebody with hands, feet, and clothes that got dirty, very dirty, just like theirs. Then in a moment, they see him in an entirely different way. In truth, it is the disciples who are transfigured. They are transfigured to see Jesus as he really is, clothed in incredible light and revealed as the Son of God, the chosen one. They are told to listen to him. They are the ones who are changed. And their lives are changed as well. They thought they were following a miracle worker and a gifted rabbi. After their experience, they began to see that Jesus was the image of God, and they were called to be the same. But that wasn't enough. Their life continued in the same way that mine and yours does after starry nights and beauty that surrounds us and confusing thoughts. Life goes on, and God appears in so many other ways. Jesus took his disciples to the mountain to find God there. The same is true for Moses in today's reading from Exodus. It appears that Moses and Jesus had the light on their faces all the time, whether it was noticed or not. It took a special encounter with divine mystery for transfiguring light to be experienced. That can often happen to us. We can miss wonder, divine or not, even when it is directly in front of our faces. The walk in the jungle wilderness I shared with you at the beginning of this sermon had a terrific impact on my life. It made me aware of God's presence in all things, but it wasn't enough. Life goes on. But as I became more aware and continue to become aware of God's presence, I began to increasingly see that the ordinary and everyday experiences in life are incredibly important. Whether spectacular or ordinary, God does seem to have a habit of making divine presence manifest all of the time. It's not necessarily the jungle or the starry night, but the ordinary epiphanies found in everyday living, yours and mine. So, dear friends, I have 2 questions for you, just 2. How do you experience God's presence in your life? How? My second question, how have those experiences changed you? How have they changed you? I'd like to share a spiritual exercise with you as you consider these 2 questions. It's called the daily examine. It is something you may wish to follow each day during the upcoming season of Lent, soon to begin this week. Rather than a prayer to clear one's conscience, you say examine, the thought is, oh, what are my sins? What did I do wrong? That's not it at all. Rather than clearing one's conscience, the examine is a prayer of consciousness led by your memory. It's a simple but powerful technique of prayerful reflection that can help you change your life. There are 5 steps in the examine. The steps are from the spiritual exercises developed by Ignatius Loyola in the 16th century. Some of you know it from your participation in the Trinity Meditation Room. Some of you in the meditation room are here today. You know that exercise. Some of you know it from other opportunities in life. Let's try to do the examine together right now. It doesn't take long. I will walk through each of the 5 steps with you if you will bear with me. Let's take the first step. I'd like you to center yourselves. What does that mean? We're going to center ourselves, folks. So if you are comfortable closing your eyes, and if you're not, then get to that blank stare we all can do, or look at your laps. But close your eyes if you will. And let's take a few moments of deep breath. Breathe in. God is as far as your breath. Hold for a moment and breathe out. Feel each breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice that it feels cooler when you inhale and warmer when you exhale. Inhaling the glory of God, exhaling so much of ourselves. Become aware of God's presence. Recognize the divine and that we are loved by God more than we want to be loved. You may want to use a breath prayer. You can simply say, "You are here, dear God. I am with you." I'll give you a moment, just a moment, to center down on that, God's presence. Let's move to step 2 while you keep your eyes closed. Gratitude. Give thanks. Look over the last few hours of your day since you woke up this morning to see what you are grateful for. Perhaps the cup of coffee this morning or the sun. Seeing someone here, a friend. What are you especially thankful for? I know what's going to happen in terms of transfixion. When these 2 little ones, Philip John and Brooks Michael, are baptized, I've seen this before, all of the choir see it. Everyone sitting in the chancel sees it. Your faces become transfixed. You're not even aware of it when you look at those babies. And they're beautiful little guys. You're just going to look at them and cherish them and want to hold them. That's a God moment. So let's take that and just think about what you're grateful for today. We'll take a moment for that while your eyes are closed and you are still breathing deeply. When you're doing this alone, you can take more time. Our third step, review. Review what? This is a time to be aware of your emotions. Offer these emotions to God. Your joys, your disappointments, your successes, your challenges. Find God in the consolations and desolations of your day. That's what Ignatius calls them, consolations and desolations. God is there too. If you can't find a word to express what you're feeling, use an image. I'll give you a moment to do that. Let's move to step 4. In step 4, you turn to God. Choose one of your consolations or desolations, just one. Be it a joy or a burden. Talk to God about it. A conversation, just like you would have with a friend. God is your friend. Take this moment to pray. What could you have said, done, or done differently? How can you bring about change? Become aware of where God is in your life. Again, let's take a moment. And the final step, look forward. That's the great thing about this prayer. It's a forward-looking kind of thing, filled with hope. In what spirit do I want to enter the rest of my day? In what spirit do I want to enter tomorrow? What hopes do I have? Look with hope to the future. Please take a few deep breaths. Just a few more. And then open your eyes. Ready? I encourage you to try this spiritual exercise in a quiet space of your home. I do it when I'm walking down the street. It doesn't matter. I do it when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get back to sleep. You may wish to journal your exam and experience. On the way out, there are packets available, and they're on the coffee table in the gathering space. Please take one. It contains what I wear, a 5-beaded little bracelet. Easy to make. It has the 5 steps on it, and in that packet is a card with the 5 steps. If that's not enough for you, look up the Examen. There are guided meditations that are terrific. Or come to the Trinity Meditation Room. By the way, on the way out, I will be there, and members of the Trinity Meditation Room and the Trinity Spiritual Center who are here today will be there, and also giving you those packets. Maybe one will go into in the ambulatory here on the way to the parish hall. So, by the way, my favorite bead is the second bead. Do you remember what that is, step 2? Gratitude. If you live your life just in gratitude, boy, God is there all the time. So it's truly amazing to find out how content you can become when you enumerate daily blessings. They're there no matter how rotten the day may be. Whether large or small, those blessings are there. They are treasures to behold and to cherish. God is always present and closer than a breath away. Breathe in, dear friends. Be transfigured. Amen.